Hi, my name is Ty Bollinger. I'm sitting here with my beautiful wife, Charlene, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself and ourselves and our mission. I actually have a degree in accounting from Baylor University, and I have a master's degree in taxation. So 20 plus years ago, when I graduated from college at Baylor University, I would have never dreamed that I would be researching cancer and cancer treatments like I do today, and doing it almost full time. The things changed for us in 1996 when my father, Graham Bollinger, was diagnosed with cancer. And on July the 1st he was diagnosed. He died July the 25th, 1996. So he lived 25 days from diagnosis. That was a pretty stressful, pretty shocking time, I guess, for the family, because he was a seemingly healthy man of 52 years old, and he was dead within just over 3 weeks. It turns out that we thought he had gallstones. He went in for surgery and it was cancerous tumors on his stomach. So they, instead of treating it the way that we know how to now, naturally, they cut his entire stomach out and he bled to death in just over 3 weeks. Dad died July the 25th. And that was really when we got thrown headfirst into researching cancer treatments, researching alternatives to the cancer treatments, to what we call the big three, the chemo, radiation, and the surgery. And we began to learn that there's a lot of other ways to treat cancer that many people just don't know about. And it became our passion, our mission in life, I guess, over the next several years after that happened. We lost both of my grandfathers, a grandmother, uncle, cousin, and then finally we lost my mother in 2004 to cancer. And it became our passion over those years to get the word out that there are many different treatments that you can use to treat cancer naturally that aren't going to make you sick, aren't going to make you throw up, aren't going to destroy your immune system, and aren't going to eventually make your life really miserable. And 2006 rolled around and we published our book, Cancer Step Outside the Box.
Can I add a little bit about that? A lot of information led to that book, a lot of history. His mother was the last one that we lost, and that was very difficult. That was a straw on the camel's back that just broke it all. And we knew so much at the time, so Ty continued to research. And for about 1.5 years, she went February 2004, and I think 2006 was the book, the initial publishing of the book, and we had to self-publish, of course, at the time. But we had a desire, as he's saying. We realized then that it was criminal in our research that people did not have access to this information, this life-saving information. So Ty, being a CPA, tax director, working from 5 in the morning to 8 at night, literally, and I had 2 small children at the time, he wanted to write this book. I wanted this book to get out. So he would come home late at night after working all day and go straight to the computer and write, research and write, and research and write. And Webster Kerr, who is with us today, I remember many conversations with that amazing man. He supported us, he helped educate us, and he was a big blessing. He wrote the foreword to the book, the cancer book. And me as a mommy of young children, it was like being a single mom in that time period, but it was my passion too, and I had no problem whatsoever. We would put the children to bed, and then together we would read the book, we would format it, come up with ideas. And when the book was finally finished, and our vision was really to help people. We wanted to get this information into as many hands as we could get it into. And at that time, we didn't know anybody but Webster. And we got the first proof of this book. And I remember you bringing it to me, and you were so happy to have the book. It was an actual book. And you said, wow, honey, do you think we'll sell a copy? Because it never dawned on us, because we did not write this book to sell books. We wrote it to help people. And then we realized, wait a minute, what do you do with a book once you read? You sell it. So we put it on Amazon, and immediately it went to the top of the charts. God just totally blessed it. It's been translated now into so many different languages. And the whole time it's been our goal, get the information out, get the information out. And so Ty started speaking and meeting people and becoming more well known by God's grace. He's a brilliant man, I might add. And he's well researched, and he's able to put such difficult things into such an easy to understand format. It's just almost miraculous. This is my brave heart. I'm not biased or anything, but it is the truth. but then the quest for the cures. This is...
Yeah, well, let me go back to what she said. You know, with my education as an accounting undergraduate and then a master's in taxation, one of the things I learned when I went to Baylor University was how to research the Internal Revenue Code and to write really concise, understandable memoranda for people that weren't necessarily a CPA or didn't have a master's degree in taxation. Well, I used that same skill when I began to research medical literature and things about health. And so it's really, you know, if you can research the Internal Revenue Code and break it down and kick it down a notch so people can understand it, it's relatively easy to do the same thing with any kind of research. And so that's what I do now, that's what we do now with our research on health and cancer. The information's out there, thank God for the internet. Anything that you want to research, you can have access to now. You don't have to have a bunch of letters after your name to have access to the data. So we just take data, we write it, we make it more concise, we make it more understandable, and we want, our goal is to get it to the masses so that they do understand, as Charlene mentioned, that it is criminal that people don't realize that they have choices when they're diagnosed with cancer. We were just able to today to give some money to a young man, 17-year-old man, Jared, that has been diagnosed with cancer, and that's his passion as well, is to get the word out that kids have choices, people have choices. You don't have to do what your medical doctor says. Just because they have a stethoscope and a lab coat does not mean that they have the right to tell you how to treat your own disease. And so really what we're about is for freedom of choice. That it's your body, it's your disease, it's your goal to maintain your disease-free state, okay? It's your health. And so our goal is not to force alternative treatments down anyone's throat. Our goal is to educate the world that there are options and then let them make their own mind up. And if you decide to go with chemotherapy, then God bless you. We hope that you do well. If you decide to go with radiation, God bless you. We hope that you do well. But it's criminal that people think that those are their only choices and they don't realize that there's all these other options out there. So really what we're about is education. And then Charlene mentioned the Quest for the Cures just this last year. We're filming this at the end of 2014. Just in the spring this year, I was approached by a couple of gentlemen, and they wanted for me to be the main guy in a joint venture to get this word out to the masses in a way that it's never been gotten out before. And so I heard their proposal, and I said, this sounds awesome. And what they wanted to do was to have me travel and interview medical doctors and researchers and scientists and patients all over the United States and get their stories on what they've done to treat cancer naturally. Some of them have treated it what we call integratively, with a combination of an alternative and Western medicine. But to get their stories, to get the doctors' treatment protocols, and to put this out there in video format to the masses. We call it a docu-series, a documentary mini-series. We did it in the spring of 2014. It was a 7-day mini-series, docu-series called The Quest for the Cures. And it was so successful, right? It was very successful.
Absolutely.
We had hundreds of thousands of views, and so we did it again in October of 2014, just a couple months ago. We called it The Quest for the Cures Continues, and we've had in excess of 1 million views of that documentary miniseries. And so this is just kind of given us a platform to get this information out in a format that's not a book. It's a very interesting documentary miniseries that kind of has the feel of a reality TV show, travel style documentary that's very interesting, and perhaps people are watching it that would have never read a book, but they're getting the information, the same information, and they're not getting it from me, because I'm not anybody, I'm one person. You don't want to get all your information from one person. They're getting it from medical doctors and naturopaths and herbalists and patients and scientists and researchers all over the country that are actually using these protocols now. And so they're not getting it just from one person, we're getting it from dozens and dozens. And this has allowed us that next year our plans are to go global with a global Quest for the Cures and interview doctors all over the world in other countries. And while we're sitting here being interviewed, we're in Austin, Texas. Actually, we have several people here in the room that are here with us actually watching this interview right now that were actually interviewed in the Quest for the Cures. So we're really honored to be here with them. But that really is our passion and our goal. It's just to make the information available for people so that they can make their own informed decision.
Absolutely. And the Quest for the Cures is almost like a video encyclopedia of information about alternative cancer treatments that really work and are highly effective up into the high 90th percentile. And that has been our dream from the very beginning, getting this information out to the masses. And as Ty said, we're going global next year with the Quest for the Cure, the global Quest for the Cure. And we are just amazed at how God has surpassed all of our hopes, desires, and dreams to get this truth out for people that are hungry for truth, that are hurting and groping in the dark, that don't have access to the truth. That's criminal. And we are here to bring light.
And absolutely, the light and the truth we want to bring to people. And we want to say thank you to Diagnose TV, because we know that you share our same mission. We're all on the same mission. We're all on the same path. We all have the same desire to inform people and to just let them make their own choices. And you can't make an informed decision if you're not informed. And so our goal, our mutual goal with Diagnose TV, which we really appreciate this interview, is to get the information out there so that people can make good choices. And then let them use their own brain that God gave them. Let them use their own instincts. Let them do what they feel is right for them. And I think that we all share the same passion, that it should be the patient's choice and not the doctor's or the government's choice forcing a person to do something against their will. So really, that is our mission, to inform and to give people the freedom of choice. And so we want to thank Diagnose TV for this interview, and thank you for what you are doing, because together we can all change the world, and we can all inform people across the world about these amazing different treatments for cancer that may not be too mainstream yet, but they will be one day soon.